right, so welcome back. Got some interesting topics on the table today. First, we want to start with Hunter x Hunter, one of my favorite animes that I feel like just doesn't get enough love. So, want to do a Hunter x Hunter video today. So, the category is going to be we're going to take Neferpitou, one of the royal guards. And we're going to say, is there any combination of two characters that can beat Pitou? So, this is not going to include anyone from the Dark Continent. It's not going to include Meruem. It's not going to include the other two royal guards. It's not going to include Adult Gon or Netero. But any other combination of people out there, do you think there's a combination of two people you can put together to potentially beat Pitou? Let me know if anybody has any questions about that topic.
No, I think I'm good.
Okay, yeah. Seems pretty straightforward. I do think some of us may have like a common person on here, but anybody interested to start, feel free to volunteer.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I know I had sent a duo we had talked about in our text beforehand, and I sent a duo, but I'm actually going to change one person out that one. I'm going to choose Silva Zoldyck and Gene Freaks. I'm going to go with the two MC's characters. Pops, the person I chose at first was Chrollo, and then I got to thinking about it, and I was like, Gene kind of got the same ability, as Chrollo, and kind of doesn't need the book to use it. So I was just thinking, like, also in my mindset was like, if the grandpa was the one that had to take out Meruem, and Silva's kind of like that too. I think Silva and Gene got enough of a powerhouse duo to take out Pitou, because Gene got that copy ability, and Silva, I mean, I really don't know too much about him, but we kind of know as a collective from being part of the Zoldyck family and Assassin that he's one of them ones. So
my only question, and I don't know if it leads into your rebuttal or not, do we know for 100% fact that Gene's ability is copy, or is it kind of implied by some things that we've seen, or can we actually confirm that his ability is actual Chrollo's ability minus the book?
It's implied, like it's like implied, because when he does the ability, especially while the VP, the other member of the 12 Zodiac, he's watching him, right? Because he hired the assassin, right? Because he want to kind of get an idea of what Ging's abilities are. He kind of replicates it, but we just don't know. It's through unknown means. We don't really know if it's really like, it's implied that it's his ability of some sort, but we don't know if his intellect allows him to kind of just replicate an ability, kind of like how we see with JJK characters, right?
Like a Sukuna, like, is it like, that's what I'm saying, like, is it like a Sukuna situation where I'm so skilled I can replicate most things, but technically Sukuna couldn't do infinite void, right? Because there's like, you kind of get
that'll even like boost Ging even more. If it's not an ability, he can just do that on the fly, and he has a whole separate ability, a whole arsenal. Bro, he's an animal, but he's considered to be, I think, the top five strongest.
Nah, I think he's like the strongest out of like all 12 Zodiacs.
But I think top 5 like in the world in terms of he's top 5.
I guess my only just concern is like, if it could be his ability, it could not be his ability. Yes, he would be supremely talented, but what if he can't just copy anything, and then now he's in the midst of battle, and it's like, okay, I can only do but these things. That can put you at a severe disadvantage as well. You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of uncertainty there that kind of makes me nervous. But I don't know. Like I said, he is they said he's a top 5 net user, so I'm sure he has some crazy abilities, and that may be his ability. But that was just only my concern there. But
in terms of my duo, it was kind of tough. But when I sat and think about it and thought more about it, I'm probably gonna go with, is it Ging or is it Jing?
I have no clue. Ging, I don't know. We know who you're talking about.
All right, cool. So I got him as one. Initially, the second one I was gonna go with was Chrollo. I was debating between Chrollo and the Fourth Prince, but a lot of people may not necessarily be up to speed with the current events of Hunter x Hunter, where we're going through the succession war, right, with the princes. And the Fourth Prince right now, he's he's one of those characters that's probably seemingly on route to becoming as strong as Miriam, if not stronger because of his broken ability. But because we don't know much about what's going on, I want to stick to kind of, I guess, what was kind of animated.
But,
so
I'm not up to that part yet, but is that taking place in or outside the Dark Continent?
It's not taking place in the Dark Continent. They're
cool.
on a ship. They're on a ship right now, and the war's going on that ship. And then there's like another subcategory where they're talking about let's explore the Dark Continent. So,
cool.
you know, but I don't want to get into that because there's so much going on and not all their abilities are fully flushed out in that sense. And we haven't really seen them. So let's just stick to anime. So if we're sticking to anime, I'm going to go Chrollo and Ging. That's what I'm going with. I think those two could probably beat Pitou, but that's somewhat probably it's kind of going based off of ignorance in a sense, because like we mentioned before, we don't really know. We know Chrollo's abilities, we've seen him, and although it is manga related, right, against his fight against Hisoka, I think, you know, we've seen him fight against, you know, the Zoldycks as well, 2 against 1, and he held his own, you know, and he's clearly on a higher level than the both of them, clearly at that point. But I'm going with those two.
Okay. I guess I'm gonna come back to you because I'm gonna have a question because we share one of our characters. You and Smoke share a character, so I think there's a theme here, right? So like for me, I got Chrollo and Hisoka, right? And I think it's tough because to be honest with you, I don't know that any of these combinations can actually beat Pitou because Pitou's OP, right? But the thing what I'm seeing the common theme is we're picking characters who can like replicate other abilities, right? Because you need something extra. So like when my thought process was like Hisoka is gonna have to use bungee gum to buy some kind of time, right? And yes, of course, Pitou would defeat Hisoka, but I think Kite bought a little bit of time, and I think Hisoka scales above Kite, right? So I just think with bungee gum, maybe Hisoka could buy Chrollo a little bit of time, and Chrollo would have had to have come in and copied particular abilities before, right, to even stand a chance. So I was thinking about what abilities, and I'm going to ask you next, like you guys, what abilities you guys think would have been needed. But I think Chrollo would have had to copy like Finks's ability to like wind up the arm and like the infinite strength, depending on how much you wind up. And then like Killua's Godspeed, right? So then he could wind up the arm super fast, you know, so it could be like super strong. And then you hit Pitou with like maybe a fatal blow, right? Because but what abilities do you guys perceive Chrollo or Ging would have to copy to even pose a threat to Pitou?
I don't think it's necessarily copying any of Pitou's ability. I think it's just ability. So, for instance, Chrollo has a book, right? And the book allows him to use the ability that he stored in that book. Which
no. I know that. Not copy Pitou's ability. I'm just saying what abilities in the
in general, I would probably say like, for instance, like when Chrollo's facing against Hisoka, right? Just being able to. I think also depends on whether or not, you know, they have prep time to fight Pitou. Right, because even just having the ability to use a bunch of different people to mask, right, and blend into that crowd, right, I think that can kind of throw Pitou off in some sense. I don't think she has a phenomenal, let's say, target and ability where she can target and describe and really identify who Chrollo is, right, in that. And I think Jin is probably a really good complementary duo because he can also, if he can copy abilities, he can also somewhat copy some of the abilities that he's seen Chrollo kind of display. And I think that can go way further than probably any other duo that I've seen, right? So I can't necessarily, I would say, pick out one ability, but I think they can just stack with each other really well, you know?
I see what you're saying. Quan, we haven't really given you a chance to go, so I'm going to let you jump in now.
I'm not going to lie. I've been thinking about this really hard, and excluding the characters that we said, and with so many unknown variables on Jin's ability, I don't see anybody really. I don't see any duo, because if I'm thinking about it, none of the 12 spiders, well, none of the spiders and none of the 12 zodiacs other than Ging, I think, are stronger than Pitou, but Ging has so much of a mysterious
aura.
Yeah, he has so much, like, we don't know a lot about him that's like
Yeah,
it's
it's
just
tough.
it's just like the lore of Ging that kind of puts him at that level. But unless you're like Netero's level, like I don't really see any duo, even with Chrollo, like, and with the with the Zoldyck, going back to what Smoke was saying, it took 2 Zoldicks to kind of like not even beat Chrollo. So it's like I don't even, and they was really trying to kill him too. So it's like I don't think the Zoldicks paired with anybody's really gonna do anything to Pitou in a matter of sense, and I don't think any of the spiders are on Pitou's level, like not even close. So it's like I can't really think of a duo. Maybe if we had more information on like the 12 zodiacs, and I mean we do have a lot of on the 12 zodiacs, but yeah, yo, I'm not gonna lie, I don't see any duo
Now, what would you say is at least the duo that has a chance, though, the best
that
chance,
has a chance.
like the best chance possible? Like, if there's any duo in your mind, like what
Are
Are
we
we all
duo?
answering this?
are
I'd
we
like to all answer
including
this one.
Netero Sun or no?
That's what I had in mind right now.
I'm
To be
not gonna
honest with
lie,
you.
that's a good one.
Because I'm
Yeah,
not gonna lie,
we can include Metro Sun, yeah.
I'm like him and Ging are the only duo I think
Okay.
has a chance.
I
Other
forgot
than that,
about his son too. I was just talking about his son yesterday, but
I don't really
yeah.
see anybody else, bro. I'm not gonna lie, I don't see
Okay.
anybody else.
All right. That's a good one because his son is kind of, and he went to the Dark Continent time multiple times.
Exactly, and multiple times and came back.
Yeah, and it's alluded that he's probably stronger than his father, right? So, at least in the manga wise, I just didn't know. I was gonna initially choose the fourth prince, Daquan, but I was like, it's so much more mysteriousness to that, and I'm like, you know, but maybe I'm being hypocritical because I don't know really much about Jin, but I know more about Jin than the rest of the manga characters. So
Pitou's OD. Like if it was a bet and I had to bet my money, I would bet my money on Pitou. But I was just trying to think who could come the closest to pushing Pitou. And like I said, you're gonna need some kind of hack, something unconventional. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why like I said, I don't think Hisoka could hold Pitou off for long. But I think if Kite can, buy a little bit of time, then I think Hisoka can buy a little bit of time. And you're going to have to hope Chrollo could land that fatal blow. You know what I'm saying? Do I think it's likely? Probably not. But just it's throwing out,
variables that have to like happen in order to beat Pitou, where it's like if it were just like I'm going into the fight with what I have, no real prep.
Nah, but let's say it's a Gojo Sukuna situation. We got beef. We set this date that we gonna come fight on this date.
Yeah, we're prep. That's if I know your ability, your strength, and everything. No, like even with that, I still don't think they beat.
Because I think Pitou just has so much raw strength. That's what makes it very tough,
bro.
She's so balanced, and then her nen ability is kind of wild too. So, do you think Pitou? Let me ask y'all a question. Do y'all think Pitou is the strongest out of the Royal Guards?
Easily.
I think the best in battle, right? Because UP might be like it's like an Uvugen situation, right? Might be like physically stronger potentially, but I think in a fight, I think Pitou would defeat the other two.
But I don't even think that what's his face is above Poof. I think Poof is the second. I think it goes Pitou, Poof, and then the butterfly,
raging red beast.
But like I said, it's been a while since I watched it though. But just isn't when I say like strength, just isn't his raw strength. I thought his raw strength maybe.
Yeah, I think his raw strength is he's like a brute, but he's not as intelligent.
I think P2's would defeat him. P2 would defeat him in a fight. I just think he's like physically stronger than P2.
OD, bro.
Yeah, P2 is she's deadly. I'm not gonna lie. And I was telling Rue, like I was like, dang, like at first I was kind of low ball, but I'm like, yo, even when she went against Prime Gon in his adult form, she was able to take off his arm. That's impressive. And
bro, come on, bro.
I was like, yeah, she's OD.
P2's tough.
Yeah,
P2's tough. All right. So it kind of sounds like the consensus is we don't really think there's a duo out there. You might need to add a third or a fourth, maybe even a fifth.
Quan might have been onto something though, because Beyond Netero's really like that though. Like
Yeah,
Yeah, he is.
he's really like that.
He is.
So
that's the only one
I
I
think
can
he has.
think
I think he has
of.
the best duo for sure. But even then,
Yeah,
we don't
it's just I
really
think
know.
it's just so much unknowns, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but okay. I mean, you guys jump in the comment section. Is there a combination out there that you guys think can defeat or push P2 to the brink? Right now, consensus is Quan has the best duo, but we're kind of scrambling here. So make sure you guys jump in the comment section. Make sure you like and subscribe.